it's clear that whatever I am, its nature is being aware. And let me go further. Then you correct me. And whatever this being aware is, it's open, it's limitless, it's all allowing, it's changeless. And within it, various things appear and change all the time. Things that apparently I'm aware of. And within all that appears, it appears there is a world. It appears to be a world that is recurrently appearing. There appears to be a certain body mind among several other body minds, but this one is it seems like a point of view of a story that I keep seeing, I keep watching again and again and again, and I see the character go through all these various apparent life phases and so forth. And naturally, because it's so recurrent, sometimes there is an identification with that character instead of being that whole, limitless, aware, whatever. I identify with the character and I start claiming whatever is appearing. Some actions I claim, these are my actions. Sometimes no action, no doing. The character is doing nothing, but I'm still claiming I'm the one. There is someone, something with an identity that I claim whatever is doing something or not doing something. Let me see if I have a question. Yeah, there is kind of this appearance of something being recurrent among everything that is appearing in whatever I am. And yeah, it's like a trick that I'm falling again and again, that appear recurrent. So I go, oh, this is myself, instead of the whole thing that of being aware. I don't know if I have a question, but just throwing there.
It's very well said. That's how it appears. Yes, you have very well described it. What I would like to just share is that that which is, I wouldn't say recurrent, but constant. That's what keeps the story on the screen is the screen. So, yeah, there is a recurrent appearance. And what's really true about this recurrent experience, what makes it recurrent, that what makes it an experience is the screen. And I think you understand that. Now, the other thing I want to share with you is that it's interesting when we take a closer look. A good metaphor is, in the old days when there was a movie that would have a reel, and there would be on the reel the film, and the film would have millions of little pictures, but they spin it at a certain speed, so the horse on the screen appears to be galloping. But if you slow down the rotation of the film, the reel of the film, then you will see the horse sort of in slow motion, sort of like step by step by step by step by step by step. Similarly, in our experience, we perceive like, oh, well, this car is driving or this body is continuous. But in fact, it's a still frame. We're always perceiving just this perception and then this perception, this perception, but it seems to be continuous. The gap between the perception is not perceived because the gap between the perception is not a perception. It's like between on the in the terms of the film, between every frame,
Mm-hmm.
there is a little line, or a very thin line, but we don't see the line. It's similarly in terms of our experience of perceptions, the sensations and the thoughts. There is a frame by frame by frame by frame by frame, sort of as a metaphor, using this as a metaphor. Um, Also, I wanted to share that there is we identify, as you so well said, with the character because it's become so familiar. So we identify with the character. Um, so there is a knowingness about the identification, and there is an identification that is void of knowingness. So it's like, I know I am not the character, but I am playing the character, and I'm, identified that somehow the knowingness, although when the character comes into the foreground, is playing the character, this knowingness doesn't disappear. And there is, of course, in deep identification, I am the character, period. Period. I'm the character, period. And so now I'm no longer playing the role of Magdi. I am Magdi. And my goodness, what's happening to Magdi? What's going to happen to Magdi tomorrow? What's going to happen to Magdi's tribe? What's going to happen to Magdi's mind? And so on. So in our contemplation, in our investigations, in our meditations, we are exploring uh, the dream and the reality of the dream. So awakening to the reality of the dream, understanding, oh, the dream has a reality. There is the dream, but there is a reality which is not in the dream. The reality is the screen. And this glimpses understanding about the reality of the movie um, can deepen and can settle in can come to the foreground so that the dream can still go on, and identification as necessary can also go on without completely veiling the the screen. So you could, be Eloisa, the mother, the daughter, the friend, the teacher, the whatever, you could be that, and completely be completely, involved in that, and at the same time, your reality, your understanding about the formless awareness is not completely veiled by that. It may seem to be veiled, but it's not. From the outside, the third person experience would say, "Oh my goodness, Eloisa now is, she's like a mom, or she's a whatever she is from the outside, from a third party perspective. But from the person's perspective, it's a different experience. Your knowingness about the illusion is alive and shining. It's hard to tell from the outside. The best way you can sort of get a sense of that first person's experience of being knowingly the self and yet being in the dream is from a perfume of peace and the restfulness. Uh, so, in a way, identification is God's game. I mean, via the Eloisa body mind, God experiences various sensations, thoughts, perceptions, enjoyments, maybe enjoys music, enjoys writing, enjoys contemplation, whatever, it's via every body mind, it's the same consciousness, the same God, the same reality, which is viewing and experiencing and celebrating and playing the game of life. I'm talking about the human experience. And I'm not, by saying that, um, limiting infinite other possibilities for God to manifest. Saying God, what I mean by that, by this formless reality as infinite creativity. Like you could say, oh well, yeah, the ocean, there's just waves and currents. That, that's too simplistic. There's infinite potentialities of creative potentials within the ocean. Mentioning waves and currents is just mentioning only a small part of the creative aspect of the universe, of reality.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the main thing, Eloisa, is your understanding is beautiful, of course, is also to be free from inner turmoil, free from fear, free from the sense of lack, free from endless desires to fill a certain emptiness, to give us some personal meaning of well-being. That's where the rubber hits the road.
Thank you.
Okay, Louisa, nice to see you.